Good evening, friends. Good evening, those people out in television land. This is the planning board. The appointed time has arrived. I open the November 1st, 2023 meeting of the Mashpee Planning Board here at Town Hall in the Waquoit Room, 16 Great Neck Road North, Mashpee, Mass. Everyone is welcome tonight. We're being broadcast live on Channel 8 and streamed live on the Town of Mashpee website at www.mashpee.ma.gov/channel-8. Okay, I'm going to have public comment now because
Is that a pledge?
we have a few people who might want to comment, or a person. So if there's any public comment, please come up.
That's for the Legion.
Oh, okay, excuse me. Must be COVID.
Once and
COVID brain. Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, review of the minutes of the meetings of October 18, 2023. Does anybody have any edits or changes?
I move to support them as written.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, public comment. Anyone? No public comment. Okay. We have a 7:10 public hearing, and I'll move on to something else. Let's go to 8, new business. Number 8 is the new business, request for release of covenant dated October 31, 2007, for property addressed at 30 Evergreen Circle, signed by Stephen Beatrice Trellis, and recorded in Barnstable County Registry of Deeds Book 22461, page 293. What I'm seeing here is this was a definitive subdivision in 2007. It was approved but never developed, but it had a performance guarantee, a covenant. October 31 was recorded or signed October 31, 2007. Then a second subdivision plan was approved, and the planning board released the covenant on this subdivision. So now they're asking us to release the covenant on the original subdivision that was never executed, that was never done. So we have no proponent here to speak.
No.
Is there any issue that we need to address?
No, I just want to reaffirm what it is you said. There was an original approval on what is now Evergreen Circle, which you have released the covenant on and any other form of security. That subdivision's complete. There was a prior approval by this board that was secured by a covenant. Numerous properties in the existing subdivision have since been conveyed, but there was one property that was going through a title examination, seeking to be conveyed for the purposes of development, and the examination brought forth this old covenant, and there's money being held in escrow resultant from the lack of release. So the legal representative of that property owner has asked you to release the covenant that is more or less defunct, given the fact that a new subdivision has been constructed and you've since released the performance guarantee for the existing Evergreen Circle. So for procedural purposes, and so that there are no further issues relative to any future conveyances, I would recommend a general release of all of the lots bound by that covenant as requested.
Okay,
So-
I'll entertain you have
So
any
moved.
question?
Release it.
So
I'll entertain a motion to release the covenant and any all lots bound by the covenant dated October 31, 2007, for property addressed as 30 Evergreen Circle and for recordation in the Barnstable County Records,
I have a question.
Registry of Deeds.
How much money are we releasing?
There's no cash security or performance bond. This is merely a
Right.
covenant
Yeah.
securing the completion of the road
Right.
and the utilities, which
I got you.
has been completed and was bound by a separate covenant, which you've already released.
Yep.
Basically, they're looking for like a clean title.
Well, there's just this covenant that has never, the original
Yeah.
one, I'll call it the original covenant, was never released by the board because the project was never constructed. And so it could potentially come up
cause
in
a problem.
future
Yeah.
title examinations.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's nothing to secure under that covenant.
Right.
It would make no sense to maintain it as a security for a completed subdivision.
I move we move on to it, release it.
Second?
I second
How do you
it.
vote?
Yeah, yes.
Discussion. So if you would add to the motion, the book and page number, book 22461 and page 293?
Okay,
That's what I
right,
just
good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
Okay,
you.
unanimous. I'm waiting for 7:10. Ed Pesci's not here tonight? No. New business on Aquay Highlands?
See it again?
The business, wait a minute, hold on a minute.
I don't
Yes,
see
it's
John
new
here.
business on the, on page 2 of the agenda. Consideration of special permit and definitive plan modification applications submitted by Aquay Highlands LLC to determine the scope of the applications is de minimis in nature and can be acted upon without a public hearing or other requirements prescribed in Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A and 41. If the board finds that the application constitutes a modification that is not minor in nature, the board will vote to set a public hearing date. My question, this is about the sidewalks that the residents of Blue Castle and the other street don't want. They don't want the sidewalks.
That's correct. But however, I wasn't anticipating the developer
Don't we
to be
need
present
somebody here?
today.
So I just think because that neighborhood is so engaged in this, I think we should notify the neighborhood and have a public hearing.
And so
Oh, well, the question was, the way I understood it, was, is this a de minimis modification, or is it a very important modification?
I can
How do
tell
you
you-
define that under the statute?
There's no other sidewalks there. in
It
the
is,
entire neighborhood.
it is defined in the zoning, and technically it could constitute a minor modification, but there's language in the zoning bylaw that grants the discretion of the special permit granting authority to determine if there may potentially be any impact to abutting landowners to require a public hearing, whether or not it meets those criteria or not. And
Can you
I
tell me
can tell
this
you what that
section?
is, if
Yeah.
you just bear with me one moment.
Yeah.
I did bring a bylaw.
It's up to us though, to say if it's a minor,
No, I know, and people have commented on it, right?
yep.
But it wasn't in a public hearing. So there might be people who were promised a sidewalk that weren't there that night when people said they don't want the sidewalk anymore. And that wouldn't be fair if they've been promised a sidewalk and weren't noticed.
Well, I go up there a lot. I don't think anyone wants a sidewalk. up there.
I know, I just, if I was the one person that wanted the sidewalk and wasn't notified,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And this neighborhood is very engaged, and they claim that the project is not in compliance. You know what I mean? So it's like, I would not want to make any type of decision on this street. This neighborhood has been, these abutters have been engaged since day one, and I would be, you know how I am, I'm very conservative when it comes to abutter rights. So I think that we should have a public hearing on it.
So just for the board's knowledge, 174-24C9B reads that any proposed change to the site plan of a project which in combination with previous modifications increases the square footage of any residential or non-residential structures by more than 5%, increases the land area occupied by any use by more than 5%, or which the special permit granting authority believes may potentially impact abutting landowners. So the 5% marks, it's under that threshold. There's no new
Yeah.
structures, there's no new land.
No,
area.
it's that last part,
However, you have the ability to require the public hearing despite that.
Because it
discretion.
impacts abutting landowners.
Because it could potentially impact abutting landowners, and that's totally within your discretion to determine.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we have a public hearing on this matter.
A public hearing on the Aquay removal of the sidewalk requirement per the subdivision plan.
Yes, as submitted by Aquay Highlands LLC.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No, but another thing, there's 3 properties that haven't been built yet. And they might have promised those 3 properties, we're gonna have a sidewalk here.
That's a
when they
good
were
point.
selling.
That's a really good
You
point.
know, so
Yeah.
Gary's right.
Okay. So, vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
I just need the board to establish a public hearing date. I would suggest, given our first December meeting agenda is full, that the board set the public hearing date for the second meeting in December, which is December 20th.
Okay.
7:10 would be adequate.
There's no holidays?
There's no holiday on that day.
Okay.
So I make a motion to set the public hearing for this matter on Wednesday, December 20th at 7:10.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Okay.
Okay, we go.
7:10.
Public hearing.
Okay, let's go back to 7:10. This is, okay, wait. Marcello Malegny, Mashpee Planning Board Public Hearing Notice. Pursuant to Mashpee General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 81T, and the Mashpee Rules and Regulations governing the subdivision of land, the Mashpee Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 6, 2022, at 7:20 PM in the Wacoit Room at the Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, to consider an application by Marcello Malegny of 80 Airport Road, Hyannis, Mass. 02601, for approval of a 9-lot definitive subdivision plan of land consisting of approximately 18.05 acres located on Main Street, Route 130, between Nicoletta's Way and Echo Road, and identified on the Mashpee Assessor's Maps as Map 26, Block 6. This lot proposed for subdivision is within the C3 Limited Commercial District, the I-1 Industrial District, and the R5 Residential District. Plans may be reviewed in the office of the town clerk or town planner at Mashpee Town Hall. So we have no one here to comment.
The letter, though.
We have a
You have a
letter.
letter.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, I don't have that letter.
Would you pass that to Karen?
That came in today?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is a letter from Attorney Christopher Crane, who represents Marcello Malegny and Forest Dale, or Forest, whatever it is, Forest
Forestdale Road LLC.
LLC. Dear Chairwoman, dated today. Dear Chairwoman Faulkner, on behalf of our client, it's requested that the applicant be permitted to withdraw their application for a special permit without prejudice. Unfortunately, at this time, due to circumstances outside of the applicant's control, they are unable to meet the conditions required by the board to allow the board to vote on the application. We believe it's in the best interest of both the applicant and the board to withdraw at this time and in the future, bring forward a completed application for the board's consideration. The applicant thanks the board for their thoughtful consideration of this project over the last several months. Thank you in anticipation of your cooperation. Christopher J. Crane. I notice he does not ask to withdraw without prejudice.
Does he not?
Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
first paragraph.
Oh, beg your pardon. Okay, fine. So, what do you say? Any comments
Nope,
on
I
this?
make a motion to allow the applicant to withdraw without prejudice.
Second?
Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous.
No, this guy's not here either.
I don't think so. They may.
You need that letter back for your records?
Say it again?
Do you need that letter back?
I do not, I have the
I
letter.
never,
It's my copy. You
I have the
can
letter, no worries.
it. This is all going to recycling now.
okay.
Can take it off the website.
Um,
Or not.
We're not at 7:20 yet, so we'll come back. 7:20. Let's go through this.
I can
We have
do
no,
a,
no old business, no board engineers report, I gather, right? Correct?
Correct.
Correct. We could do a water quality report.
I'm going to do that. It's not exactly a water quality report, but it's just to remind people at home. Let me get this letter here. Because of a publication problem, the special election was supposed to happen on November 7th, 2023, has now been changed to Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, and it goes from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. There'll be plenty of ways that the people at home are going to know about this. We're going to have signs all over the place, a robocall. What else are we going to have, Michaela?
There's also some predates to vote too. We vote early.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that.
Hi. There's a mailing going out to head of households, a postcard mailing from the town. As you mentioned, the robocalls, signs in different places. Also, we approved early voting.
I'm going to cover that with Rodney's letter.
Okay,
We have,
perfect.
thank you. We have a letter from our town manager. It was on the town website, and basically, that's what you need to know. Early voting, I'm reading it, it was dated October 30th from Mr.
November.
Collins.
November.
No, October 30th, 2023. Early voting is scheduled for Monday, November 13th, Tuesday, November 14th, Wednesday, November 15th, Thursday, November 16th, and Friday, November 17th, from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the Mashpee Town Hall. And he says here, if you were previously issued an absentee ballot, you will automatically be issued a new one, and the old one can be discarded. So I don't necessarily need to read the referendum, what you're voting on, because you probably know it. Do you think I should read it?
I think you should just say what a summary of it is.
Okay. What the referendum is saying is we're going to exempt the design that we voted on at, under, what article was that? Article 1 at the town meeting. We're going to exempt the cost of this from the provisions of Proposition 2.5. So we want to, we've got a bond plan for $4.5 million. It might be less, it might be more. And that's going to be exempted from the 2.5. And that's what we're basically voting on, because we do have to add to the 7.5 million, 3 million of cash in reserve. So it's 4.5 million or less. Vote yes or no if you agree to this. So it's just walk in, check yes or check no. It's very important that you vote on this so that, you know, if you believe that we should go forward with the water, you need to vote yes. So please vote.
So it is an override of 2.5.
It's an override, yeah.
Yeah, but you, I thought you said it
We're
wasn't.
not exempting it.
No,
It
it's
is
debt-
more.
It's a debt
It's
exclusion.
exempted from the
Okay,
2.5. You can call it an override or a debt exclusion, either
That
one.
excuse is better because after you pay it off, it's gone.
This
That's
is
right.
like a
For
sunset date.
For a period of time, as they say.
2.5 override, most of the time it's permanent.
It basically,
override
this
it,
is a
right.
capital improvement here, and it's being excised from the 2.5 proposition. Okay, so now it's
Karen, can I-
7:20.
Can I relay one particular piece of information I learned at this morning's department head meeting? The town clerk relayed this, and the town manager confirmed this morning, and I just figured might as well share the information as much as possible prior to the election. But many people already had pulled absentee ballots. There's nothing anyone who's already pulled an absentee ballot needs to do. They can throw that one away, shred it, whatever. It is irrelevant at this point. It can go, be recycled or thrown away. You will be provided with, by the town clerk, a new absentee ballot as you had requested. So do nothing with the old one, or do with it what you please, but you will receive a new absentee ballot if you've already requested one.
Could I ask, does the original absentee ballot say November 7th, and the new one say November 28th?
Yes, it'll be a
Okay.
new ballot to reflect the new
So
date.
if you've got a ballot at home that you
That's-
signed, it says November 7th, throw it out,
Yes,
and you'll get a November 28th ballot.
yes.
Okay, great. All right, it's 7:20, time has arrived for the Tudor Terrace special permit, public hearing.
Warren's here.
I noticed, we gotta open this.
Okay.
Okay, that's Pleasantwood Homes LLC. Mashpee Planning Board Public Hearing Notice. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 9, the Mashpee zoning bylaws 174-24C and 174-47, the Mashpee Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 16, 2023, at 7:10 PM in the Wacoit Meeting Room at the Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, Mashpee, Mass. 02649, to consider an application made by Pleasantwood Homes LLC for approval of a special permit for a cluster subdivision of property addressed as 20 Tudor Terrace, Assessors Map 29, Parcel 198. The applicant proposes to divide the subject parcel comprised of approximately 6.024 acres into 3 building lots for single-family home construction while preserving 3.021 acres as protected open space. The plans and submitted application can be viewed in the office of the town clerk of the town planner, or the town planner. We have here a letter from Attorney Christopher Corain, dated October 27th, 2023, addressed to Mr. Lair. It is requested that the applicant be permitted to withdraw their application for a special permit and definitive subdivision plan approval without prejudice at this time. Thank you in anticipation of your cooperation. So, may I take a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Are you satisfied with the motion?
Motion to, well, yeah, a
It's
motion
only
to
on the special permit. Just motion,
withdraw without prejudice.
yes, without prejudice.
Right, Michael? Can't
Second,
say those
what I
words,
said.
sorry.
seconded. Vote,
Aye.
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 Aye,
Okay, unanimous. The next one,
otherwise they can't come back for 2 years.
let's see. The next one is, again, Tudor Terrace, the definitive subdivision, for definitive subdivision. The Mashpee Planning Board Public Hearing Notice. I'll read it again, except I add definitive subdivision here. Pursuant to Mashpee General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 81T, and Mashpee Rules and Regulations governing the subdivision of land, the Mashpee Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 16, 2023, at 7:15 PM in the Wacoit Meeting Room at the Mass Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, Mashpee, Mass., to consider an application made by Pleasantwood Homes LLC for approval of a definitive subdivision plan of land that would create 3 new 40,000 square foot building lots by dividing the 6.024 acres subject property addressed as 20 Tudor Terrace, Assessors Map 29, Parcel 198. The remaining land are totaling approximately 3.021 acres, is proposed for open space as required by Mashpee zoning bylaw. The 3 lots proposed open frontage via an extension of the existing public way called Tudor Terrace. Plans may be reviewed in the office of the town clerk or town planner at Mashpee Town Hall. May I, let's see, okay, the same letter that Mr. Lair was given by Christopher Corain, requested the applicant be permitted to withdraw their application for definitive subdivision approval without prejudice.
I move that we allow the applicant to withdraw their application without prejudice.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you.
Man, I spent a ton of time on that.
Let's see,
You're telling me.
what is left? This is slim pickings here tonight.
Engineer report. no.
Let's see, town planner's report.
Not much for me. Harbor Management Planning Committee did not meet last month, so I think that process is is cooking for a little while. I would imagine we'll reconvene next month. Housing production plan remains underway. We held our second workshop last week, and are working through the development of the plan subsequent to the completion of the needs assessment and now getting into goals and strategies.
When's the survey close?
Survey closed on the 30th,
Okay.
and we've received, I want to say, 309 responses.
That's pretty
So
good.
we were able to get
Pretty
it.
good.
Wonderful.
And a few more paper ones have come in today, so we're still entering those in the back end.
That's wonderful, because last time we heard you were at 100.
Yeah, we were able to get the push across, so.
Wonderful.
We are
Congratulations.
satisfied with that figure. Myself, and Alexis from Barrett Planning Group, and Alan Ispitz are meeting tomorrow with the Tribal Housing Commission relative to the HPP and a few other issues like local preference policy, for example, that have been simmering on the back burner for a little while. So we are eager to have that meeting as well to round out the community engagement. At some point soon, it will be worthwhile to have a discussion relative to processes for review and adoption of the plan. That'll be a communication that needs to also be had with the select board as well. The select board needs to adopt it in addition to the planning board. So we will keep you in the loop, and I would anticipate coming with recommendations for that by your next meeting.
I did attend that housing production meeting, and I have to say, it was very, very enjoyable. I think we learned a lot. We realized what we can't do. I think we realized a lot of things, good things. And I like that method better than
It's less awkward.
breaking up into groups, putting dots on questions that we either like or don't like or need further information about. It was a really good meeting.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. Board member meeting, committee reports, Cape Cod Commission.
Cape Cod Commission is rescheduling its meeting on the regional housing strategies
They
next
are,
week.
next week.
Okay. Charter Review, that met last night.
Yes. Charter Review met last night. I think we're meeting next Monday. And we have incorporated on this, we have redlined the existing charter. Plus, we have this big chart of everybody's comments, including all the public comments. And now we're gonna go through it by article or section by section, again, with those comments. We're first deciding what's an issue that's gonna attract a lot of attention or comment, right? And what are kind of like housekeeping stuff. So we're doing that. And then we're gonna start to, see what the committee feels should go forward and what shouldn't.
One of the things is, don't take away elected officials.
That's a hot button item.
That's a hot button item. In fact, there's some people that wanna add to the ballots. They wanna add.
That's fine with me.
Yeah,
It's good to have, if the people don't like it, we can vote them out. If you have somebody appointing them, if he don't like them, he can fire them, or he can keep them on as long as he wants. And they could be the worst person going. That's why we gotta make sure we keep that elected official, especially Debbie's job. That's all I have to say anyways.
we're gonna have more time for public comment.
Okay,
Yeah, and that, I think that matter is going to be, have a lot of conversation.
good.
I do have to say that I work in a town that has an appointed town clerk, and there's some benefits to that, so I'll be speaking a bit about that when we get to that point. But I hear that, Dennis. Thank you.
I think it's the 13th.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
Our next meeting is the 13th?
No, this, November 13th? Okay.
Okay.
Community Preservation Committee?
Okay, so Community Preservation Committee meets a week from tomorrow. Applications for this funding round the due date was I believe the 1st.
Today?
Which was today. And what I have in front of me is 4 applications, one from Mashpee Natural Resources for a Shumet Pond nutrient inactivation, Another one is from the DPW regarding some additional improvements to Heritage Park Improvement Phase 2,
Yeah.
which is 520 Main Street, so that must
Right
be
there.
up by the soccer fields and splash pad. And then the third one is from it's from David Whedon on behalf of, he's the chair of the Environmental Oversight Committee, and it's for funds for an open space and rec plan. And the fourth is from the Mashpee Planning Department for a purchase of land, which we discussed a little bit at our last. So there's 4.
Maybe the Parson house had burnt, the fire.
I
mean, didn't they get money from,
That has $400,000. I don't know if the agenda is set for next week. But I'll ask the chair to add that because it does. It has $400,000 to start a survey of the building that would lead to recommendations on how to restore it.
how much is the fire is gonna, there must be a lot more money now because of the fire.
I mean, if I was part of that early on, the condition of the building was so poor already, part of the roof was caved in. I don't know how substantial the fire was. But a lot of the early survey work was like digital in nature to essentially recreate like the building plans from the remnants of the structure.
All right.
I haven't spoken with David on this subject in a while, so I don't know the extent of the fire or the arson, but I'm not certain that it's likely it would impact the work that was being conducted for
Oh, yeah.
the preservation of that structure.
I like to see it go through, you know.
So would I.
I'll see if the chair will put it on
Yeah,
as,
make sure they have
as an
enough,
item.
you know.
The chair is Arden Cadron. She's doing a really good job looking at past awards and the progress of those awards. So I'm expecting more and more kind of questions like that, like whatever happened with that money and what do we do and how do we get it started again?
Now, was there any insurance on the building?
I'm uncertain.
It's federal property.
Oh,
It's
Yeah,
not.
it's a reservation property.
It's reservation.
Oh, okay.
But it's held by the federal government in trust for the tribe.
all right. So,
The one thing I know about historic stuff being funded by community preservation, to use CPA money, you can rebuild, but you have to save
the portions.
a portion of the structure. So a lot of times, it's the beams that are salvageable, but don't throw everything out. It's kind of like that $1 that gets spent on affordable housing, you can always go back with affordable housing and the community preservation money, if you use $1 on a development for affordable housing, you can always rehab it
Yeah.
with community preservation money in out years. So it's like there's something that has to be historic saved.
Another thing is the windows, the glass.
See, even if it's the
Some of
glass,
it's made
do
in
you know what I mean?
Sandwich, that maybe in that building. you
Yeah.
know.
Right, like beams, glass, that kind of stuff, the hardware that's historic, you have to save all those little bits and pieces, and then you can rebuild with new wood, but,
Okay.
because I worked in a town that made that mistake, threw away the beam, and then they couldn't reconstruct the cellar house. It was, we were devastated,
Wow,
yeah. Anyways,
thank you. Okay, design review, there was no design review, but next week, we've got Dunkin' Donuts coming.
No,
oh gosh.
Plan review, let's see, plan review.
No
Okay.
meeting at New Sign, not at
No.
this one, at the one on 151.
EOC,
No meeting.
Historic
They met,
District
They met
Commission.
last
meeting.
night,
They did?
yeah. EOC
They told
met
me no
last
agenda.
night, yeah,
Monday night.
Monday night,
Oh,
yeah.
got it.
And,
failure to
I didn't,
communicate.
I was only there for the tail end.
you'll have to stay after school.
I know, and I'm in detention.
But that meeting is, right, they don't have I'm not getting notified of the,
You know,
um.
last message I got was no agenda, no meeting.
If it makes you feel any better, Dale, I was on the agenda as an invitee, but I never got the invitation, so I'll be there next month.
All Okay.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I have
They,
no,
they did vote to submit a community preservation committee application, that was their big concern.
Good.
I have no additional topics.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah,
Okay,
let me
good
see if I
evening,
can give you
everyone.
the.
I'd love a 36.
Be careful out there, it's very dark.